The company I worked for transferred me to an island in the Pacific. Fantastic place. I invited my girl to visit me. I sent her a postcard every day with a single word on each card. I wrote, "Found a virgin paradise. It's yours, Matthew." Naturally, they were delivered in the wrong order. The message she got was, "Found a virgin. It's paradise. Yours, Matthew." I never heard from her again.
Blame It on Rio is a 1984 comedy film directed by Stanley Donen that was based off of a French comedy film and that would find box office success. Michael Caine stars as Matthew Hollis, an English businessman in a rocky marriage with his wife Karen, played by Valerie Harper, and a teenage daughter Nikki, played by Demi Moore. His friend and co-worker, American businessman Victor Lyons, played by Joseph Bologna, is going through a divorce and has a 17-year-old daughter, Jennifer, played by Michelle Johnson. Both men work in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and the families plan a relaxing trip together to Rio de Janeiro. Shortly before leaving, Karen tells Matthew that she has decided against the trip, opting instead to travel to Club Med in Bahia by herself.
Look, I'm sorry. I know I was wrong.
About what?
About whatever you think I was wrong about. I admit it.
I didn't say you'd done anything wrong.
All right, then, I deny it. Whatever works here. Please, darling, Victor's waiting.
The hell with Victor.
Hold on. Hey, guys, we got a plane to catch.
She's not going.
What do you mean you're not going? What happened? Would you have a fight? What?
I don't have to answer to you too, Victor.
I don't get it. Who packs not to leave?
With the trip now only consisting of the two fathers and their daughters, the four plan on relaxing and enjoying themselves. While Jennifer has a strong bond with her father, Nikki seems to feel distant from hers.
Jennifer, I want to get to the beach early. Come on, Nikki.
You up?
Half.
Your father's so sweet. I used to have a crush on him.
Me too.
While on a beach, the men realize nearly all the women are running around topless. Their joy is short-lived when they soon see both of their daughters on the beach, also topless.
Hey, are those the girls?
Hi!
Hi! Isn't it a fabulous day?
Fabulous.
Aren't you a little chilly, Jennifer?
Chilly?
I am. I feel a little chill. No, really. Why don't we all get dressed and go in for a swim?
You're embarrassed.
No, I'm not embarrassed.
Oh, Daddy. Help me, Nikki.
Come on, hey, come on. All right, look, come on, stop pushing. Come on. Hey, what are you looking at? Hey, come on. Hey, let's go. Come on. Stop.
Come on in, Uncle Matthew. Poor Uncle Matthew. I don't know why some people can't get older without getting old.
After Victor meets a woman at a bar and takes off for the night, Matthew heads to the beach and runs into Jennifer at a wedding celebration. Of course, the wedding guests strip and head into the ocean. Jennifer insists that she and Matthew join them. After enjoying a kiss in the surf, witnessed by Nikki, Matthew tries to resist temptation, but he is unable to, and he and Jennifer wind up having passionate sex in the sand.
Jennifer! Jennifer! Look! A shell!
Make love to me.
I'm 20 years older than you.
28.
25.
The following morning, Matthew tells Jennifer that what happened must remain a secret and never happen again. Nevertheless, Jennifer continues to flirt and tease and seduce Matthew every chance she gets. And their affair continues.
Are you mad? I can't keep this.
Don't you like it? I think it's pretty.
Get out of there.
Maybe I'll sell it at school.
Better put it away before they're selling it all over Tokyo.
Yes, Uncle Matthew.
I wish that's all I was again. I truly do.
Poor Daddy.
Oh, yours or Nicole's?
Mine.
Oh, that poor daddy. You can't swing a dead cat around here without hitting a poor daddy.
What are you going to tell him?
He's my friend. I'll have to lie.
Soon, Jennifer tells her dad that she had a sexual affair with an older man. This infuriates Victor, who vows to hunt the man down who slept with his daughter. He asks for Matthew's help in his search, and hilarity ensues.
I can explain this. It's youth. That's all. Kids exaggerate. They make things up. They make people up.
Oh, yeah? Did she make this up? I go to sleep with his smile on my lips. I love his sweet mouth, his funny little teeth. I love looking deep into his soul through his lovely blue eyes. Eyes that seem to see the real me.
As the stresses of the sexual peccadillos take a toll on the group, all four will come to terms with personal issues and try their best to resolve them.
Nicky? Where have you been tonight? Last night?
What do you care?
I'm your father.
Do I ask where you go?
I have been here.
Sure, this is where the action is. I've played dumb so often with you. I know when you're playing dumb with me.
I hope I'm as smart as you are when I get to be your age.
You always said that honesty should never be painful.
I was wrong.
She's in love, you know.
She thinks so.
If you think so, you are.
The first is always the hardest.
You're not the first.
Oh, I know. They're all hard in a way.
She'll get over you. Just be yourself.
This movie was directed by Stanley Donen in his directorial debut, and it was written by Charlie Peters and by Larry Gelbart, who was best known as being one of the creators and writers of the hit CBS TV series MASH during the 1970s. This film was based off of a 1977 French comedy film, Un Moment de Gamin, which itself would be remade in the year 2015. I do find it interesting that this plot gave rise to 3 different movies within a 38-year period. Director Stanley Donen referred to the production of this movie in Brazil as being horrendous. It was the first foreign film in Brazil to operate under new government guidelines. In her 2019 memoir, Inside Out, Demi Moore revealed that she ended up sleeping with a young member of the crew one night during the filming of this movie. The crew member, who Demi Moore described as Peter, a young guy who was running the second unit camera on the movie, is assumed to be Peter Lyons Collister, a second unit cameraman from Cleveland, Ohio. The movie was filmed between March and December of 1983. The titles initially considered for the movie were I Love Rio, and Only in Rio. Actor Alan King was considered for the role of Victor, but the role went to actor Joseph Bologna. This was the theatrical movie debut of Michelle Johnson. Despite the fact that she had never acted before, Michelle Johnson was picked for this role out of some 300 candidates. Michelle Johnson was only 17 years old during filming. While nudity of a woman under 18 is not illegal to show or to view in a movie, the actual filming of the scenes required parental consent. Michelle Johnson said during a 1984 interview that it wasn't until after she was cast that she learned her role involved total nudity. While she said her parents were somewhat concerned at first, they eventually consented after they looked into the director's reputation and seemed satisfied because he made quality films. Michelle Johnson stated that while she was nervous at first being naked in front of so many people, once the camera started rolling, she was just fine. Released on February 17, 1984, Blame It on Rio grossed a total of $18.6 million worldwide, and it spent 6 weeks in the top 10 grossing films in the United States, 4 of those 6 weeks in the top 5. This made Blame It on Rio a box office success. Siskel and Ebert had differing viewpoints on the film. Roger Ebert didn't care for the movie, while Gene Siskel gave it a thumbs up.
Blame It on Rio is a bit preposterous in the beginning and in the middle. Now, how can I come back and recommend the movie after that? That's because it did win me over at the end, not with a comedy scene, not even with a sex scene. It won me over with a strong scene of forgiveness. And that caught me by surprise, and I went out of this picture thinking about that as much as the sex in the beginning.
I had an interesting introduction to this film that would evolve over a 20-year period. In about 2002, I was 13, 14 years old, and at the time, many comedy films I would watch were the American Pie road trip era funny sex comedy types. I would often rent these movies, and my father and I would watch them and laugh hysterically. One day, I believe in 2002, I asked my father if he had remembered any comedy films that had really attractive women. He said, Michelle Johnson in Blame It on Rio. Now, of course, I knew who Michael Caine and Joe Bologna were, but I had never heard of Michelle Johnson and never heard of Blame It on Rio. So we went to the video store and we rented the VHS of this movie. I was about 14 years old. I enjoyed it. We laughed. Michelle Johnson and Demi Moore looked hot. And after a few days, I forgot about pretty much all of it except the main gist of the plot. 18 years later, in May of 2020, shortly after the COVID pandemic shutdowns, I watched this film for a second time. Only this time, I wasn't 14 years old. I was 31 years old. Watching this film for a second time, nearly 2 decades later, I enjoyed it even more than I remembered. I found it to be much funnier than I remembered. I found Michelle Johnson much more attractive than I had remembered. Seeing this film in my 30s, you look at it differently than you did when you were 14 years old. This is a fantastic film. I give it a very high 8-star rating. If you're in the mood for solid acting, wonderful visual scenery, gorgeous women, and great humor, I highly recommend the 1984 comedy film Blame It on Rio.
What if we both went a little bit crazy? Blame it on Rio.
What if our hearts got a little bit hazy? Blame it on Rio.
What if we acted like fools, broke a few rules? What do we care? Blame it on Rio.